Okay, part 3. And for part 3 we're going to do something completely different. Because I've been looking at other people who do wrestling videos on YouTube. And I've been looking at their home pages. And I'm sure you've all noticed this. They all have these top 10 lists, right? You've got your top 10 favourite matches this year. Your top 10 favourite matches of all time. Your top 10 favourite wrestlers. All that sort of stuff. So I was thinking I should make me some of them top 10 lists. Basically. But then I thought, sounds like kind of hard work, you know, do people really want to hear my completely biased views on these things? So I thought, rather than do that, I'd have you guys do it for me. So what I'd like you to do is vote in a series of polls I'm going to have, and we're going to use the results of your votes to determine the top 10 lists, right? So we're going to have a poll this week, and it's going to be, who is your current favourite WWE wrestler? And it's going to be in the sidebar, but don't go there yet. Who is your current favourite WWE wrestler? I stress the word current because it's not in the question, but it should be. Who's your current favourite WWE wrestler? So basically, we take the results of the poll, we create the top 10 list. So this is an opportunity for everyone out there who watches my videos, but they don't like the fact that I criticise Triple H all the time. If you like Triple H, vote for Triple H. If Triple H gets the most votes, he goes at the top of the list, right? So all of my subscribers have a vote. Anyone who's watching this video for the first time, they have a vote. I have a vote. Bobby has a vote. We all have one vote. Please don't use more than one vote. If you're using more than one vote, just think, why am I using more than one vote? Okay, so here's the only problem, right? Well, there might be other problems, but here's the only problem I'm thinking of right now. So basically, I wanted to give you guys as much option as possible, basically so you wouldn't moan at me. So I've given you 57 different options. The problem with this was there is no create your own poll for 3 site, which allows you to have 57 answers to one question. So I've had to split it up into 3 separate polls. Now, I only want you to vote on one of the polls. I only want you to vote for your out-and-out favourite wrestler. The polls are in alphabetical order, so the top poll is all the wrestlers beginning with from A to G, then it's H to N, then it's O to Z. So basically, if your favourite wrestler is Triple H, you're in poll 2. If your favourite wrestler is Batista, you're poll 1. Favourite wrestler is Randy Orton, you're in the bottom one. Okay? So please all vote. Vote just once, and we will use the results to determine, because I we hardly knew you, top 10 favourite current WWE wrestlers. That's that. Right. A few Q&A questions. Okay, got a question from MyBeardsNamedDaveToo. So, you've got 3 places to give out to future WWE, 3 places for future WWE Hall of Fame slots. Who do you give it to? Well, I didn't do any research, as you'd expect. So, some of these people may be in the Hall of Fame, but I don't think they are. First person, who I know for a fact isn't in the Hall of Fame because he mentioned it when he was guest hosting Monday Night Raw, Ted DiBiase Sr., of course. Basically, this guy I'm almost certain will get in the Hall of Fame. Totally deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm wondering if he's going to be able to get in as the top of his class, though. I feel he might be the second guy, you know, underneath someone else. But I think he really deserves to be the head of his class. This guy was awesome. I remember him very distinctly from my childhood. He was a great wrestler, a great in-ring performer. He was great on the mic. He was great at gathering heel heat. He had a great character. Basically, if he had been born in a different era, if he'd come to the WWE as it is now, he'd be like a 10-time world champion with his abilities. But, you know, he was born in the era where it was more fashionable to have Superman faces like Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior and all that. So he didn't really get all the accolades he deserved. Sensational wrestler, I'd like to see him in the Hall of Fame. Secondly, Rick Rude, another one of those wrestlers who was kind of held down by people like Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. Brilliant, brilliant in-ring performer. Once again, you know, a good character. Truly a great wrestler. I'd like to see him in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he is in the Hall of Fame. I'm sure he will be at some point, but once again, he's not going to be head of his class. Third one, Vader. Now, there would be absolutely no chance of Vader getting in the WWE Hall of Fame if WCW still existed to this day, because Vader did all of his, you know, good work in WCW. When he came to WWF, he was made into a joke, he was made into a massive jobber. So if it had been on the strength of his WWF work, he'd get nowhere near the Hall of Fame. But now WWF is acknowledging WCW and is taking over all their, you know, all their past archive footage and all that. There's a very good chance Vader will get in the Hall of Fame, which is a very good thing, because he is one of the few monster heels ever who could genuinely really go in the ring. He was great to watch because he was super aggressive, he was being super stiff with his opponents in reality. Mick Foley tells some stories about how when people realised that they were scheduled to fight Vader the next night, when they'd been penciled in to fight him, they just quit. They just quit the company because they just didn't want any part of it because the man was just a beast. So yeah, those are my three. $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, Rick Rude, and Vader. Okay, Ryden1011 asks 3 questions. In your opinion, why are people saying that Ted Jr. is the next Randy Orton? He doesn't agree with this because Ted is not nearly as good as Randy in the ring, because he hasn't had as many good matches as Randy Orton had at the similar time in their careers. And he also said Ted Jr. could learn a lot from Ted Sr. Yes, he could. You're damn right about that. I don't understand how Ted DiBiase Sr. produced sons with such a complete void of charisma. Because that other kid, Brett DiBiase, he was just another plank of wood. I mean, seriously, how can their father be the $1 Million Man? I don't get it. But yeah, in answer to your question, I have absolutely no idea why Ted Jr. is considered the next Randy Orton. I think he's talentless. I actually think Cody Rhodes is better than him. And I don't like Cody Rhodes. I don't think Cody Rhodes is very good. But I think Cody Rhodes is better than Ted DiBiase. He's more athletic, he's more capable of cutting a promo, he's far more capable of having like an entertaining backstage segment. Ted DiBiase Jr. for me is just rubbish. Truly rubbish. I criticised the DX versus Legacy match from SummerSlam, and I know a lot of people are annoyed at that. The reason I did it though is because Legacy, you know, it looked like boys versus men. Legacy did not look remotely credible, and it wasn't because they were getting buried, because Triple H and Shawn Michaels were really trying to put them over, but Legacy looked shit still. And you know, Ted DiBiase Jr., just his abilities, his attempts to gain heel heat are laughable. They truly are. I don't rate him at all. I don't think he's a very good wrestler, and I think the company's starting to go off him slightly because he was supposed to get the face turn, but now it seems Cody Rhodes is the one who's going to get the face turn, which I presume is going to be accompanied by a push, so who knows about that. What are your thoughts on the way Orton is being booked, and how would you book him? I actually think Orton's being booked okay right now. He's certainly been booked a lot better than he was. For me, I don't think Orton can carry a show. I know a lot of people would disagree with me on that. I know the person who asked the question would disagree with me on that. But I don't think it makes very entertaining television when Randy Orton is the main guy on the show. I really don't. So I kind of like the fact that, you know, he's more backseat now. But I think the legacy angle is starting to work a lot better. The real problem is not that Randy Orton is being booked badly. It's that everyone around him is being booked horribly. The whole Raw main event scene is screwed, and it's not just the fact that new people aren't getting into the main event, which everyone moans about. People like MVP, Swagger, The Miz aren't getting into the main event. It's not just that. It's the fact that John Cena and Triple H are not having any new storylines written for them. So we're just getting, for example, this program between John Cena and Randy Orton. There's no reason behind this program. There's no reason at all. Seemingly, this is just picking up a storyline from 1.5 years ago. Write some new fucking material. I don't want to see this again, right? That's why people are hating this so much. So I actually think Orton's being booked okay. It's just the people around them are not being booked very well. What are the new feuds you guys would like to see? Well, I'd definitely like to see Edge Jericho, which is going to come. I'd also like to see Jericho Undertaker. I really want to see this feud that's happening right now, CM Punk Undertaker. I wanted to see that since Punk turned heel, basically. Another thing I want to see, and a lot of people wouldn't expect me to want to see this, Jericho versus DX. I think that'll work. I don't know why. Cena versus Swagger. I think that'd be a good way to elevate Swagger if you put him in a feud with Cena. Presuming Cena put him over at some point, obviously. Also, then you could have MVP versus Orton, you could have DX versus Jericho, so Triple H, Randy Orton and John Cena would all be occupied and they wouldn't all be in the main event picture at the same time. That would all work? That sound good? Okay, turn over to part 4 for the awards.